Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a really fascinating tension happening right now in the tech world. We're looking at the clash between this popular narrative of AI as a job-killing slop machine and the actual reality of it being a wildly powerful cognitive amplifier. Look, we hear so much noise about artificial intelligence every single day, right? But for this explainer, we're going to push past the hype and look strictly at the hard data, the internal corporate memos, and the economic forecasts to figure out what is literally happening in the workforce today. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with slop versus bicycles, tackle the doomsday narrative, look at what the data says, and finally unpack the tech layoff irony. Let's get right into it. Section 1, Slop versus Bicycles, Reframing the AI Conversation. So, last year, the cultural zeitgeist officially crowned slop as the Merriam-Webster word of the year for 2025. Slop. And honestly, it perfectly captures our collective cynicism toward AI-generated content. Now, to be fair, if you're someone who spends a little too much time doom-scrolling AI memes, you might think it's all highly entertaining. But broadly speaking, the word slop implies something cheap, mass-produced, and totally mindless. It really reflects this specific, deep-seated fear that AI is just here to flood our world with low-quality junk. But there's this really fascinating counter-perspective from the top of the industry. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella elegantly pushes back against this whole slop narrative. Writing on his personal blog, Looking Ahead to 2026, he actually urged us to adopt a new equilibrium. He wants us to see AI not as a substitute for human effort, but as a scaffolding for human potential. He's reviving this classic tech concept of bicycles for the mind. Basically, he's urging everyone to stop talking about AI as a replacement for human workers and start viewing it as a cognitive amplifier, a tool. And that brilliantly sets up the core philosophical battle for 2026. Are we building slop, just sheer, mindless replacements for human labor, or are we building sophisticated cognitive amplifiers? This framing is absolutely crucial, because think about it. If it's a bicycle, the human still has to pedal. Moving on to Section 2, the doomsday narrative selling fear. So the tension really flares up right here, because despite Nadella's plea to view AI as just a helpful tool, the actual business model for a ton of AI startups relies on a completely different premise. Much of the marketing for AI agents uses the explicit idea of replacing human labor to justify their pricing to investors. They're basically going to companies and saying, hey, buy this software so you can eliminate your payroll. It is a direct, undeniable contradiction to that high-minded bicycle theory we just talked about. And the fear gets amplified at the highest levels. Just listen to this alarming prediction. In a 60 Minutes interview, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei actually warned that AI could take away half of all entry-level white-collar jobs. Half. And the result? He predicts this could push unemployment to a staggering 10 to 20% over the next 5 years. That is massive structural unemployment being predicted by literally one of the biggest names in the AI space. Which brings us to Section 3, what the data says offloading versus replacing. To understand the reality on the ground, we have to look to MIT's ongoing Project Iceberg, which is actively measuring the economic impact of AI in the workforce. So they estimate that AI is currently capable of performing about 11.7% of human paid labor. Now, if you just skim a headline, you might think, oh, wow, AI is replacing nearly 12% of all jobs. But actually, Project Iceberg clarifies a massive nuance here. What they are estimating is how much of a job can be offloaded to AI. It calculates the wages attached to that specific offloaded work, not entire human beings being deleted from the economy. Now look, we can't ignore that real disruption is absolutely happening right now. Certain roles are undeniably feeling the squeeze. According to sources tracking like the Substack Blood in the Machine, corporate graphic artists and marketing bloggers are seeing high impact. We're also seeing higher unemployment rates among new grad junior coders. But take a look at the tasks actually being offloaded. It's things like automated paperwork for nurses or basic computer code generation. It's genuinely intriguing because highly skilled writers, artists, and programmers are actually using these exact AI tools to offload their tedious tasks so they can produce even better creative output. AI cannot replace human creativity yet. It just offloads the busy work. And here is where we get the biggest plot twist in the whole data set. Check out this quote from the Vanguard 2026 Economic Forecast Report. It explicitly states that the roughly 100 occupations most exposed to AI automation are actually outperforming the rest of the labor market in both job growth and real wage increases. Think about that for a second. The jobs most in the crosshairs of AI are currently flourishing the most. So the Vanguard data overwhelmingly supports Nadella's bicycle theory, for sure. The workers who are masterfully using AI are making themselves far more valuable in the modern economy. Learning to ride the AI wave doesn't make you replaceable, it makes you a highly efficient premium asset. Let's hit our final section 4, the tech layoff irony. So if masterful AI use makes workers so incredibly valuable, why on earth are we seeing headlines like this? Microsoft itself laid off over 15,000 people in 2025. And they did this even as they recorded record revenues and profits for their fiscal year, explicitly citing their massive success with AI as a reason for their financial wins. This glaring contradiction has inherently fueled that whole AI is coming for our jobs panic. But if you actually dig into Satya Nadella's own public memos following these layoffs, a totally different picture emerges. He didn't state that internal AI efficiency allowed them to cut 15,000 jobs. Instead, he said the company had to reimagine our mission for a new era. He listed 3 core business objectives moving forward: AI transformation, security, and quality. What we are really looking at here is a restructuring of investments. They aren't cutting jobs because AI is doing the work. They're ending investments in slower-growing areas of the business so they can buy more servers and pile cash into the rapidly growing AI divisions. And just to put the sheer scale of this into perspective, according to the research firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, almost 55,000 U.S. tech workers lost their jobs in 2025, specifically in the name of chasing AI. This wasn't just Microsoft. We're talking massive cuts at Amazon, Salesforce, and other tech giants who are all pivoting their capital toward AI development. So the ultimate takeaway here? The narrative of AI directly stealing your job right now is often just a convenient mask for standard corporate strategy. These job cuts are being driven by ordinary business practices, cutting divisions that are less exciting to investors so they can fund the massive, expensive infrastructure required for the new, shiny AI boom. It's an investment shift. It's not necessarily an AI agent sitting at a desk doing the work of 55,000 human beings. So as we wrap up this explainer, looking at the reality of AI acting as a cognitive amplifier amidst all this corporate disruption, I want to leave you with one final question regarding your own relationship with this tech. Are you using these tools to build a bicycle for your own mind? Offloading the busy work to become a more capable, highly skilled creator? Or are you just sitting back, waiting to be replaced and consuming the slop? The data shows that the choice is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.